Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If you have been here before, then welcome back. Today I have for you the second half of that big old house that I was building a couple of weeks ago. I am here to furnish it now for you. First, I'm going to start off with making sure all of my doors are the same color because for some reason I was paranoid about that. And then I started in on Heather's bedroom because this is in my Total Drama Island save, if you didn't know. And this is the house that I am building for Heather, Beth, and Lindsay. For Heather's bedroom, I wanted to do a black and red color scheme, and I wanted to do a sort of modern glam sort of feel for her. I took a quick break to put in floors though because I got distracted. But after I did that, I started going in and decorating and furnishing her room. Wanted to put a cute rug in there for a pop of color. I didn't want the room to be too dark, even though I was going with that black and red color scheme. I thought that, it would still be like cozy without being cave-like. Sorry I'm kind of all over the place with what rooms I'm putting walls and floors in. I just do them in whatever order feels right. I went with this crown molding wall color throughout the entire house, just in different shades, various variations on it, just because I wanted to have the whole house look kind of uniform. As I was building, I was kind of imagining in my head that the ground level of the house was the first thing that was built, and it was built in like the 1920s, and then it was renovated a couple of times after that, and so the main part of the house has got sort of a turn of the century kind of vibe with a few modern updates here and there, because my reference pictures that I originally used were sort of a modern southwestern kind of vibe, if that makes sense, which sounds like so specific and niche, but it helped me find Pinterest boards to look at. And you'll see I tried to add some clutter in each of the rooms as well to make them look kind of lived in, because I do plan on playing in this save and I like to have lots of little trinkets around, so I spent some time doing that in each of the rooms, mostly though the bedrooms and the kitchen, because I feel like those are the rooms that my Sims are in most often. And I did end up using the Seasons pack, the Vampire pack, and Get Together most throughout this house, I think, because the combination of those, and I guess also the what's it called, the Parenthood pack, it's the one that all of those together helped me kind of strike that balance between like a modern vibe and kind of a classic vibe. So if it looks kind of mismatched to you, I'm sorry. To me, I feel like it looks really balanced and classic, so that's what we're doing here. Just go with the flow, trust me on this. And if I sound like I have a cold, it's because I did or do. I'm not actually sure. I was sick last Sunday, actually, like dreadfully ill, after I posted that Create a Sim video where I made Gwen, LaShawna, Bridgette, and Jeff. I said in that video, like, oh, if I have some free time this next week, I will pre-record some other Create a Sim videos in this Total Drama Island series so that I can, like, get ahead of myself. And as soon as I said that, it was like the universe heard me and struck me down with a cold. I took 2 COVID tests 24 hours apart, and both those were negative. But I have some sort of something because I had a fever for, like, one night. It was a low fever. And then after that, my nose has just been so stuffed. I've been blowing my nose like crazy, and I don't feel sick anymore. I just sound like I am. It sucks. It's awful. So that's Heather's little private deck area. It's really tiny, but I wanted to keep it looking sort of modern and cute, so that the front of the house is cohesive looking, and also because I feel like it matches Heather's bedroom style as well. nice flow to it. Kind of all of the common spaces and the outdoor spaces are a neutral sort of version of what I picture Heather's taste to be. So that sort of like muted, sleek, modern look. And in her spaces, I'm incorporating some color here and there, and then in the more common areas, we have more neutrals, more tans and browns. For her bathroom, I went with a gray and white color scheme to have that match and be cohesive as well. This was one of the bathrooms that I wanted to look older, as I was imagining that this house had been built a while back and then renovated a few times. This was one of the bathrooms that I was picturing as being like, you know, in the original build, so it's gonna look older than some of the other bathrooms. It's got the cloth-footed tub and a shower that was maybe added later because it's more modern looking. We got some old countertops, that kind of vibe. I think it looks pretty cute. I wanted to put some lights above the mirror, and after I put that first light fixture, I was like, wait, why don't I just individually place some lights? I've done that before, why don't I just do that now? These cottage living ones look so cute. It was absolutely perfect. I was like, okay, yes, this is my like Victorian bathroom fantasy. It's all coming together. And yeah, after that, I moved on to the basement where Lindsay's room and bathroom are. And unfortunately, so I built this stuff over 3 periods of time. So I had 3 different build sessions. And in this build session, I lost the footage of doing Lindsay's room and bathroom. So you'll see me start them, and then I finished them off camera by accident. I promise I've included them at the end in the walkthrough so that you can actually see them, because I think they're so cute, but you don't get to see me actually like put them together. There it is. That's Lindsay's room and her bathroom. It's cute, it's girly. I think Lindsay would love it. And here we have Beth's bedroom, which I actually recorded at least most of it because I realized that I was having technical issues like midway through and was like, oh, now I can record again. And I wanted Beth's room to look really cozy and refreshing, something where she can, you know, a place where she can be peaceful and she can get away from her roommates and her friends when things are crazy. I wanted to give her a sort of botanical vibe for both her bedroom and her office. When I play in this save, I plan on having her be a scientist, I think, and I intend on having her garden as well as being like a hobby for her. This space here in the corner is going to be her office. I know it looks kind of sparse because I don't have anything on the walls, but truthfully, I wanted to save some money, and so I just plopped some desks in here and was like, we're gonna call this good. And that's awful. After I landscaped everything, I went back in and I added some stuff to the walls in the downstairs living area, but I still didn't come up and put stuff in Beth's office, but it's fine. As I play, I'm sure I'll add some stuff. And I mean, if you download this house off the gallery, it'll give you a chance to add some personalization as well. And obviously you can change and do whatever you want to this if you download it. I'm sure there are lots of things that I'm doing that are making you scream at your screen, but that's just the way that it goes. We all have different building styles. And this little bathroom is Beth's bathroom, and I know that it's the tiniest one in the house, but I tried to make it super cute. This was one of the bathrooms that I thought would be, like, part of the renovation that I was imagining in my head, so, like, oh, this one was renovated in the 70s, and so I went with sort of, like, a mid-century kind of vibe. It's a little bit more modern than the one that's by Heather's bedroom, but it's not quite as modern as the one that I put in the basement, because, see, in my head, the basement got finished, like, after everything else, so Lindsay's bathroom is the most modern looking, and Beth's is the one that's kind of in the middle, and I put that subway tile in there because I feel like it is the wall in the game that like is the brightest and makes the room look the biggest and the most open, and because this is such a tiny space, I kind of wanted to have a little like trick, you know, to make it look a little bit bigger, and I wanted to have this sort of minty color scheme because I didn't want it to be like the exact same shade of green as her bedroom, but it matches the office pretty well, so this whole upper floor kind of has a nice Beth vibe, I think. And yeah, I made sure to add towels and light switches. Oh my gosh, you have no idea how excited I have been about the light switches being added in the game. Seriously, one of the most fun things that has been added in a really long time. So, so, so stoked about light switches. It's such a tiny little detail, but like, you don't even know. It adds such a layer of like detail and texture that I have just been like begging for so long. We all have. Everybody who plays The Sims has been begging for light switches. And again, I know that sounds silly for people who like don't build like really crazy in the game, or they like don't play really long legacies. They probably don't know what I mean. But like when you play a really long legacy and you play on the same lot in the same house for a long time, these little details, like, they matter. You know, you want your house to look really realistic and lived in, and those light switches, they make such a difference. And up here on this loft space, I wanted to have a little TV nook that was a little bit more private than the downstairs sitting area is. So I added that here, and I ended up putting some plants up here as well. There's like one by the window, and there's one here that I've got behind the couch because, again, I wanted to do some gardening with Beth, and so I had to make sure to add some plants here and there just to have her touch throughout the floor, like I was saying earlier. And I noticed that there was some space here for a Don't Wake the Llama game, and so I stuck that there so that people could have a little fun up here on the loft when they actually have their friends over. And down below the loft is where I wanted to have a more formal entryway sitting area, something a little like, you know, less private than that upper loft area. And this is what I meant when I was saying that I wanted to have the common areas have more of a neutral, heathery kind of vibe. So everything is kind of like black and white and brown in the sitting areas, and I think that makes the whole ground floor look really cohesive. I added a little reading nook to this corner here. Honestly, when in doubt, I just add a reading nook. If I'm looking at a corner in a game and I'm like, what am I gonna put in this corner? It's a bookshelf. I'm putting a bookshelf. And so that's what I did here. And this is what I mean when I was saying that the Parenthood pack like really came in handy, because all the furniture in this room is from the Parenthood pack, and I just think that it's that perfect in-between of like classic, mid-century. It's super cute. And then I added some light switches next to the thermostat for the entryway, and I also ended up putting an umbrella stand down there just to sort of fill the space out, but also because that's like a fun little gameplay thing if you have seasons to like change the colors of your Sims umbrellas. That's like so fun for me. I don't know, again, it's the little things. The little things mean a lot to me. And I have recently downloaded Jungle Adventure, which I know sounds crazy because it's like so old, but I was really stoked to see this wall hang, this tapestry, with that sort of southwestern look to it, because, you know, when in doubt in this particular house, I was going with that modern southwestern feel, right? So if I was ever in like a quandary about what to hang on a wall or put in a nook, I was like, okay, think southwestern. So that tapestry was perfect. And oh yeah, I ended up taking a pause to put some succulents and some wall sconces in the stairwell there because it just looked really like spooky and dark, and I wanted to make it look more bright and inviting, because obviously like there's a basement in the house, but the basement doesn't have to be scary. It can be an inviting and bright place just like the rest of the house is. And yeah, I ended up adding an entry, like a proper entryway against this back wall. I ended up putting a coat rack and a little hook for bags to hang. I got the clutter pack recently as well, and honestly, it's the only kit that I have, but it's so exciting. I'm kind of a sucker for these little details. I'm gonna keep saying it. You'll hear me say it a lot, I'm sure, over and over again in this video and all my other videos, but clutter items are pretty dope. I haven't bought the bathroom clutter kit. I'm indecisive because I really like decorating bathrooms. Decorating bathrooms is one of my most favorite parts of decorating in The Sims. Growing up, I never had like a nice bathroom. I'm yet to live in a house in my adult life that has like a really fancy bathroom, or even like like a bathroom that I can like properly dress up, you know? And so it's always like kind of a release for me to get into The Sims and make these really cute bathrooms, or like these really stylized bathrooms. So I think I would like the bathroom clutter kit, but I also kind of like have a moral stance against kits, you know what I mean? And so I haven't bought any except for the clutter one, because it like popped up and it tricked me. No, they didn't trick me. It was that I was buying another pack that was on sale, and it popped up because it was like the same day that it was released, and I thought, well, I'll probably use the stuff that's in it, so I might as well. This is probably the only kit that will have stuff in it that I'll actually use, because ultimately that's the reason that I haven't purchased any of the others, is that I don't think that they have items in them that I would actually use in my gameplay. I do think that I would probably use Bust the Dust, but I know that it's super bugged, and I already have super bugged packs in my game as it is, and I don't think I can take any more, so that's why I don't have that one. The kitchen is probably one of the more modern spaces in the house, but I wanted to use some older looking countertops and some older looking tile to kind of bring it back to that originally built in the 20s kind of feel. The fireplace in the room, I think, kind of adds to that vibe, and I added some subway tiles in this room as well to kind of make it look like maybe it was renovated since it was originally built. I tried to make the kitchen island make sense. I don't know if the layout is strange. I wanted to do a layout that was different from what I usually do in kitchens. I kind of get into a rut when I do kitchens, and they all kind of have the same shape with the same counter layout, and I wanted to kind of shake it up this time and make it look a little bit different, mix it up, you know what I mean? And yeah, I added some clutter in here to make it look lived in, and also because I wanted to put a coffee maker on the counter, and I felt like the coffee maker looked lonely without other things. I always feel that way, and if I'm going to put a microwave, I always end up putting more clutter in the room too. I don't know, it just looks more natural that way. And I apologize for putting lights in last. That's a bad habit I should probably break, but I don't know what to say. That's just what happens. Now you can see all the stuff that I've placed that I was talking about. And here I put the dining table right next to the big window. I don't have a big dining table because there are only 3 Sims that live in this house, and there's lots of other seating in the room. I did debate putting some bar stools by the kitchen island, but I opted not to ultimately, just because I thought that the bar top kitchen island, it always looks silly to me the way that it hangs over, and I don't know, maybe that's a controversial opinion, but there are only some kitchens that I like it in. And over here is a laundry room, and I know I was just saying that I don't have Bust the Dust because it's super buggy, and here I am building a laundry room, and laundry day is like notoriously buggy, but I don't know, I'm a sucker for laundry day. I've said it before, I love the aesthetic of the pack, and I love that we have some other items in other packs that match it really well. This basket item from Cottage Living is so cute, and I needed to put it somewhere in the house, so this little laundry room is perfect for that. I wanted to have some pops of color in here, so the teal tile and the teal washer and dryer, I think, really do that for me. And I stuck a cactus in there because, again, with the southwestern influence, I wasn't sure what kind of plant to add, so let's add a cactus, you know what I mean? And over here I added another little TV nook, and this one was sort of the kind of like in between of the 2 other TV nooks that I have. So you know what I mean? We've got the loft space that's a little bit more private. This one is a little bit more of a like gathering, hosting area, and then downstairs I ended up putting in a rec room, and that one's even more like VIP, you know what I mean? So there's lots of hosting places and places where my Sims are going to be able to have their friends over, which is super helpful because Lindsay has the friend of the world aspiration, so I'm going to be throwing a lot of parties in this house, and I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I don't always like having social Sims, but sometimes it's nice to, you know, just have a bunch of dinner parties and have a bunch of people over to watch things on the TV together and fight to get your Sims to actually cooperate as a group and do the things that you're cueing them to do. It's awesome. I love having parties in The Sims. And in the opposite corner, I put an office nook for Bridgette and Heather. Beth gets her own office, and the other bedrooms are kind of too small to have office nooks in them, and so I ended up putting it there. And that rug, I know that I shrunk it, but I totally made it bigger later because it kind of like makes the room look less clinical and sparse when the rug is bigger. It overlaps with another rug that I placed, but whatever. If you don't like it, that's something that you can change if you decide to download the house. It is already up on the gallery. It's been up on the gallery since it was finished, because that's sort of what I do. I just upload things to the gallery as they're done. So if you're following me on the gallery, you will see a lot of the stuff before it ends up on the YouTube channel, honestly, because these videos take me the whole week to make, you know what I mean? So if I finish a house on Monday and the video isn't going to get posted until Saturday, then the house is up for that whole week, you know what I mean? And I added a game table to the middle of the room here, just again, another like, oh, well, if they have parties, this is something for them and their guests to do. And then I went and added curtains, because that's something that I like notoriously forget. Every time I build a house in like any save, I always have my husband come over and like check it for me, like, hey, does this house look normal to you? And it's always curtains. The thing that I'm forgetting is curtains. He comes over and he's like, doesn't that window need like blinds or something? Like, you're so right, windows have blinds on them. And I don't know why I forget. It's not like I don't have curtains and blinds in my house. I don't know. It's just a little detail that I forget. And you know what's so strange is you would think, too, that I would remember, because I grew up playing The Sims 2. I played The Sims 2 for a really long time. It wasn't until, like, I want to say 2018 or 2019 that I actually stopped playing The Sims 2 regularly. And in that game, if you have curtains or blinds on your windows, you're less likely to get robbed. You might still, the burglar might still come, but you're less likely for him to come. And there's no robber in this game, but you would still think that that would be, like, in my brain, right? Because I have a lot of other, like, leftover Sims 2 habits that don't make any sense that I still do to this day. Like, I won't save my game unless all of the Sims are back on the lot, because in The Sims 2, that was something that could corrupt your save. And I don't think that that happens in The Sims 4, but that's still something that I'm paranoid about happening, so I don't do it. I also won't save the game if I'm, like, getting a phone call or one of my Sims are on the phone for the same reason. The Sims 2, there were just a lot of ways for your saves to get corrupted in that game. So basically anything that could corrupt your Sims 2 file save, I'm afraid of doing in The Sims 4. Although, you want to know something? One of my worst habits that I've still retained is I just let the population in my neighborhoods get huge. And it's not on purpose. Like, I'll set the limit, because in The Sims 4 you can actually do that, right? And it will just fill for whatever reason, like the story mode, or what's it called? Storytelling in the neighborhood. The families will just get super huge, or Sims will just move in, and suddenly my save is so full, and like, I guess I could go through and cull them, but it feels bad, you know? It feels mean. But you know what? I'm not complaining, because in The Sims 4, you can do that, right? Like, you can set a limit of the amount of Sims that'll spawn in your neighborhood. You can go through and cull the Sims out of the neighborhood very easily. In The Sims 2, you can't really do that. You can't really, like, fully delete a Sim from The Sims 2 unless you go into the game, like, code and delete the Sim properly, because otherwise, guess what? You'll corrupt your game. So you can't, like, just delete a Sim the way that you can in The Sims 4, because there's still a trace of them in the game, and so the game still counts them. And if you have too many Sims in your game, it just gets super bloated, and then it'll get corrupted. The thing about The Sims 2 is that it's, like, broken as soon as you load it, unless you put a ton of mods in to make it actually playable. Like, if you think that The Sims 4 is bad, whoo, you have no idea. I'm super used to having to download mods to make my game actually playable. And so if you ever have any complaints about any bugs or glitches in The Sims 4, like, just know that it was worse, okay? Like, we used to be in the trenches, like, proper in the trenches. It's gotten a lot better. It's gotten a lot easier. And obviously there are things about The Sims 4 that I don't like, but, the fact that there are simple measures I can take to prevent my file from becoming too bloated or corrupted. That's nice. I appreciate that. I like that I don't have to get into the game's guts to make it work, unless I super want to, And that's not to say that I don't have mods in The Sims 4. I absolutely do. But I feel like the mods that I have in The Sims 4 are more about details. They're more about specific options that I want rather than making the game function. And you might disagree. You might think that MC Command Center is necessary to making the game function. And I'm not going to disagree with you. I definitely feel like I can't properly, play if I don't have it or it's not updated for whatever reason. I totally understand that feeling. But I also feel like ultimately I can play vanilla Sims without any mods, Sims 4 without any mods, and I can be confident that my game at least isn't going to break. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's definitely a nice change from the olden days. And I say that as if I ever played The Sims 1. I didn't. I've actually never played The Sims 1. And you want to know something? Is I kind of skipped The Sims 3 as well. I don't know how that happened. I just don't have a thing for odd-numbered Sims games, I guess. And I've heard that The Sims 3 is notoriously buggy as well. And I'm not saying I haven't played it. I definitely have. But the only issues that I've had with it in the, short time that I have played it was just that it ran really slowly, and I didn't have that many packs downloaded. I think I probably had only 2 or 3 packs downloaded, and so I don't think that it was that, but it definitely sounded like my computer was going to explode, and the loading screens, what few of them there were very long. And so, it would stop and buffer because it's an open world sort of, right? You kind of have to click from location to location, and when you do that, it zooms in and zooms out, and there's a brief moment where things would buffer for a couple of seconds when I was going from place to place in my game. But I liked The Sims 3. I played it for a little while. I found it challenging to play long legacies in that game for a couple of reasons. Household management was never really my strong suit in that game. I don't know if I just never figured it out because I didn't play it enough, but I like to play rotationally. The Sims 2 kind of got me in the habit of that, and so that's what I like to do. But in The Sims 3, you can't really do that. The Sims 4 isn't exactly designed for that either, but you can play it in a rotational way if you try, and you set up your options to accommodate that, and you download all the proper mods to accommodate that. That's the way that I prefer to play The Sims 4. That's the way that I intend on playing this Total Drama Island save, is in a rotational style. My plan is to do a week in each household. I'm probably going to start with this one, Beth, Heather, Lindsay, and play a sim week with them, and then move on to the next house in the rotation. And when I'm playing on my own, I usually just go to the house that's the closest nearby, so the one that's next door or across the street. And I usually move through the house or through the neighborhood in a clockwise sort of manner. But I mean, if I have people commenting on those videos, this video, what have you, then perhaps you guys can help me decide which order to play in. After I do my 1 week with Beth, Heather, and Lindsay, you guys can let me know which household that we should do next after that. I do have to build houses for those other Sims, and I actually do have 2 other households that I still need to make in Create a Sim, but we will get there when we get there. Next week, we're taking a break from the Total Drama save anyhow. We're going to do my History Challenge save instead, so we're going to hang out with some Ancient Islander Sims. It's going to be a fun time. I haven't played that save in a few weeks because I've been holding out and waiting so that I can play it with you guys. I'm so excited. I hope you guys like them, and you're not allowed to make fun of me. You understand? Anything that you see that's silly or goofy or chaotic, you keep it to yourself. What happens in the History Challenge save stays in the History Challenge save. Alright, now it's walkthrough time. So we walk in through the front door and we have this entryway room. I think it's super cozy and inviting, very much a bright and welcoming space with the neutral tones, and I wanted to keep it classy, so everything is black and white because that's one of my favorite color combinations, and you can fight me about it if you think that it's drab. I don't care. And then we go downstairs and into the basement where we go past this reading nook, through these double doors into Lindsay's bedroom, which is super pink and girly and youthful, and I love it. It's so fun and it's so cute. I love the bubblegum pink walls, and I had a lot of fun picking out the furniture. I kind of wanted more orange in the room, but I do still like the way that it turned out, and her bathroom is a nice compensation prize for me because it is super orange. I love it. It's orange and blue. This was the bathroom I was imagining got remodeled in probably the 2000s or the 2010s. I just love it. I did one of my favorite styles of shower in here with the little half wall and that university shower. It's one of my favorite ways to do an open shower. It just makes the room look so big. And then over here we have a rec space with a bar, foosball table, little pub table. It's very cute. I'm excited to have a party here. And yes, I added another TV, whatever. There's lots of TVs in this house. These girls had a lot of money. I don't know what to tell you. It's huge. What else would you have put there? And then upstairs in the loft space is this game area as well as another TV nook. And then down this hall we have Beth's bedroom. I wanted to have the whole floor be very botanical and charming. It was really exciting too to have a little nook that closet fit into in kind of a natural way. It's not often I get to use that item in a way that makes sense. And here's Beth's bathroom, which is very minty fresh, and her office as well, which again, sorry the walls are kind of bare, but I'm planning on putting more things in there as I play in this save. And then after this, we head back down the stairs into the other living area, and there's another game table in here, but it's specifically a card table. And here is the kitchen, which I added some yellow details here and there, like the chairs and the subway tile, just to keep the room very bright and also not too black and white. We didn't want to have it be too monochrome. Through this door here, we have Heather's room, which if you were looking for some color, here it is. Heather's room is very cute. Obviously, we have red walls. We've got the red details on the roses on the wall. I just think it looks so Heather. Everything about this room says Heather to me. I had so much fun with it. Honestly, her and Lindsay's rooms tied for the most fun rooms in the house for me. Really enjoyed doing her bathroom as well, but here it is in all of its Victorian glory. We love it. And then after that, we go through here, her double doors to her private patio. I can just imagine her out here in the morning drinking her tea and scheming. We love to see it. We love to see a babe being mindful and enjoying her morning. And after that, you come out of that door again, and right next to it is this little half bath because I wanted to use the space well. There isn't a half bath here in the reference photos that I had, but I wasn't sure what else to use in that corner, you know? So it just made sense. And then we have the desk area over here. I wanted to have each of the girls' styles reflected at their desks. And then through this door that's between the desks and that TV, we have a side yard where Beth is going to do her gardening. I'm thinking flowers. That's what I'm thinking. That's going to be the vibe. And then you go around the side of the house here and we have a patio. I wanted them to have a place to grill and cook out, and I also wanted them to have a place to sunbathe and just sort of chill. Another place for them to host parties if they wanted. And back here is just a little porch with some cute furniture that kind of matches the furniture that's up front, but it's not identical, just close enough. Again, that sort of southwestern influenced look. And back here again is the laundry room, and I left it for last because I know so many people don't like laundry day. You could use this room for another bathroom if you wanted, and then use that other corner for something else. There it is. There's the house. It will be up on the gallery. My gallery name is Lola, WRDN449. Go ahead and download it. It's been up for a couple of days. As always, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Give me a like if you liked it. Check out my other channel if you're interested in video essays. Subscribe to me here. Subscribe to me there. And I'll see you next week. Bye!